Hey everybody, it's John at Midnight Paint and Body here with you again. Okay, in this video we're going to have a look at what point is it better to replace a body panel over repairing. Okay, so I'll show you guys what we're working on here today. So this is a 2015 Chevy Traverse. Now, as you can see, this fender it's pretty hammered. You see it's kinked all the way up into the top here. So what we're going to have a look at is, at what point do you replace a body panel? Now, in this case, I made a couple little notes here for you guys. So I can get this fender for the customer, so through Cross Canada Auto Parts for an aftermarket panel. It would be a Kappa certified panel, which is, they are the more expensive panels. That's the only ones I use because the quality is very good on them. I didn't price out an OEM panel. I mean, it's an older car. It's, you know, the aftermarket panels are just fine. So in this case, this fender is fairly pricey, $470. So if you were to take that $470, then a couple hours to change it. Now, at my shop rate, 60 bucks an hour repair. So, you know, that's 590 bucks before taxes to buy a fender, put the fender on. That doesn't include painting the inner prior to installing. It doesn't include paint on the outside. Now, what I have got on this fender is a 4-hour repair. 4 hours might seem light, but by the time I take this fender liner out, this is completely open. I'm going to be able to get in there and hammer and dolly it. I believe this is high-strength steel. I'm not 100% sure. So if you take my 4-hour repair plus an hour to just pull some stuff off the headlight and loosen off the bumper cover, pull the fender liner out, that's 300 bucks. And then it'll be the same amount of paint time. I put, I think I've got 5.5 hours paint on it, and that's to do the fender and to blend the door for color match. So this customer did have some collision shop estimates. Everybody put down to replace it. I put down to repair it. Again, it's an older car, customer's paying for it, it's not insurance. I think this will be, you know, a good repair. I'll be comfortable warrantying it. And a little bit of my background in this trade. I mean, I've been in the trade 30 years. 11 or 12 of those years, I was a collision repair estimator. So I know a little bit about estimating damage. My total repair on this car with taxes and everything is, you know, well under $1,000. And again, I will warranty that repair. It'll be a good repair. One of the estimates the customer had on this car from a collision shop was $4,700. So, yeah, let that sink in. Now, if I was estimating this car for an insurance company, you know, I would have down to R&I the headlight, R&I the bumper cover, blend the door, R&I the mirror, handle, moldings. But still, I mean, and even at, you know, body shop rate of, you know, I think last time I worked in a collision shop, repair rate was still like 73 bucks an hour. So yeah, collision isn't a big money industry, but still, it's still, I don't know where they came up with that number. But anyhow, I figured I would take you guys along on this repair. I'm gonna kind of look at the time when I start, and we'll kind of see where we're at once I've got this thing ready to, or even in primer. And then probably along the way, I'm going to be working in between on another job while I've got dry times and stuff. But I'll set up the camera take you guys along and we'll just see how this thing goes. Alright, so a couple more bolts there. I just finished up pulling the fender liner, pulled the headlight out. So we started at 740, 820 now. So now, as you can see, well, I'm just going to show you guys. This is totally open in here, so I mean, there's no reason you can't repair this fender. So, just moved on to a couple basic body working tools, a couple different hammers, a couple different dollies. And we're just going to start kind of hammering these dents out. You can see there's a buckle there, it's a high spot, so I'm going to hold my dolly on the buckle. And there's a low spot in there, we're going to start working that out. Lots of different shapes of dollies for hammering things out. Now, I mean, obviously you can get really expensive ones, or you can just go down to Princess Auto or Harbor Freight, and you can get these kits with these dollies really cheap. I mean, obviously, you do it for a living, you want the better tools, but if you're just wanting to try this out and do some work on your own stuff, nothing wrong with buying that cheap stuff to get going. You always take your time. You don't want to just go swinging your big old hammer and trying to whack the dent out in one shot. you're just going to stretch the heck out of the metal and make more work for yourself. So take your time, work it out slowly. And sometimes too, the movement of your hammer, you know, I've got a high spot up here. I want to kind of bring that metal down to put more pressure down here. So we'll hammer kind of a downward motion. We've got another kink down there. We'll move that around a bit. And I'm keeping some pressure on the fender there so that when I hammer it's not moving the whole thing. We want to keep this metal out where it's supposed to be. Way up top there. All right, we're pretty much ready to grind that off for body filler. I'm gonna bring you guys in for a closer look at it here. See if you can see, looking at it in the light, I don't know how well you can see it, but you can see we've got the proper shape of that fender back. And you can also see that it's not like we're just taking body filler and filling dents. So this is all going to be ground down. We're going to give this whole thing a coat of body filler. But all we're doing is leveling that surface now. We're not filling much. All right, so I'm going to regroup here, grab some different tools, and we'll get that ground off. Alright, so I've just gone ahead and cleaned that all off with some 60 grit on the big disc there. I just find that works good. It's just a preference, I guess. Low speed, you don't want to put a lot of heat in the panel. So I've cleaned it all off, and then I just took my mini grinder with a new 40 grit disc and kind of cleaned everything up, and it puts a nice tooth in it for the body filler to bite into. So let's go mix up some filler and get a coat on this thing. Alright, so I've put the old headband camera on here. I'm gonna go over to my mixing bench. So, my personal favorite body filler, this Evercoat Z-Grip. I really like this stuff. I'm not a fan of the gold filler. This was one I bought when they were out of stock one time. And I find with body filler, don't be afraid just to load her up on your first coat. I mean, you're taking most of it off. It always looks bad coating the hell out of stuff with body filler, or Bondo as guys like to call it. But I find if I like to just put lots on the first coat. I always like to try and finish with one coat. I find you get a nicer, straighter panel rather than stacking coats of body filler. That's too much harder. So that's gonna kick over pretty fast. We'll just be quick. So you need to mix until you get a nice uniform color. Fold your filler, smear it out, don't stir it. You don't want to be forcing air pockets into it. You want to force all the air pockets out of it. Stirring your filler creates air pockets, creates pinholes. I know lots of guys don't show this part, the body filler. I mean, body filler has a bad rap. Oh, I don't want Bondo in my car. Well, typically, if you see this again, it's because it wasn't done right. You know, if it ended up with cracking or shrinking. There's a preference, plastic or steel spreaders. In this case, I think I'm going to use the plastic because of the contour in that fender. Nice to have that little bit of flexibility. As you can see, I mixed way too much, but that's okay. Better too much than not enough. Okay, the filler's all dry. So I'm gonna take my 8-inch orbital or mud buster and rough this out. We'll finish it off with a block. So this fender is kind of concave right here. It isn't flat all the way through. So I'm going to take a round block and put that shape back in there. Alright, so I've got a few pinholes in the body filler. I'm going to mix up a little bit of finishing putty for those. I'm working on a trunk lid over there that needs a couple little putty spots too. So I'm going to get that on there. So now for reference, I started on this at 7:40 this morning, 9:40 now. So yeah, we'll come back in a few minutes, have another look. I'm going to throw the wheel back on it once I've done that little bit of putty. I'm going to stick it in the booth for some primer. Alright, so there's 2 coats of primer on. I've got 1 more to go. Got a Camaro deck lid as well that I was working on in between. So, just for reference, 10:48, started at 7:40, so 3 hours. Fender's repaired in primer. While that second coat sets up, just 1 more coat to go. We're actually just going to take a quick run into town to pick up my paint for this job. So let's do that, and then we'll come back and finish it up. Back to that job we're working on. Like I said, we're just kind of showing you where we should be drawing the line between repairing a panel and replacing a panel. Now in this case, you know, the customer's paying for the job. I put down 4 hours repair on that fender. got the repair done. It's pretty much in primer in 3, and I've got one more coat of primer to put on it. And then, you know, it's going to take me an hour to prep it up, and then it'll be ready for paint. So, you got to think that, you know, it's obviously it's much better for the customer. I mean, sure, I could have bought a $470 fender. I mark up my parts 10%. I would have made, you know, $47 or whatever, somewhere around there. In this case, I make 4 hours repair at my shop rate, 60 bucks. So that's, you know, 240 bucks. And then some time as well for the other R&Is and whatever, and then the paint time. But, you know, it's better for me, it's better for the customer to repair it. That repair, I have absolutely no issue putting a lifetime warranty on it. You know, or as long as that customer owns that vehicle. But, you know, I just find it funny that the collision shops are so quick to replace everything. And honestly, I don't think it would have been much faster by the time you enter that fender and install it. You know, repairing it didn't take a whole lot more time than that would have taken, so. And I don't ever want to come off like, you know, think I'm some kind of hotshot body man. Because I'm not. I'm just a guy that does body work for a living. It's, I think I'm a pretty average body man. I'm sure there's plenty of guys that are way better than me. Alright, so we went into town, picked up some supplies. I just put my last coat of primer on here. I've got a heat lamp on it. 20 after 11. So if I leave this heat lamp on over lunch, I can easily prep this and have it painted today. I don't know if I will. I've got some other work going on this other car as well. So I might paint it today, I might wait till tomorrow. But either way, I will bring you guys back for another look after this is all prepped up and painted. I don't think I'm going to keep recording for the prep work and the paint work, because I've done those videos before, but like I've been saying, I was just kind of making a point on this one of, you know, where do you draw the line? Where do you replace a panel? And once again, I'm a pretty average body man. I'm no super hotshot, and I'm not trying to make it out like I am. I'm just kind of trying to share the stuff with you guys. So anyway, I think we'll wait and just come back for a look once she's all painted up and put back together. Okay guys, I'm back. It's the next day. Got a little paint work done for this Camaro that you probably saw in the background. Hood and a deck lid there for it. And then, so I did get this car painted. It is the next day now. I did get it painted by the end of the day yesterday, but because auto body, I actually got a run in the fender and went to sand it and polish it this morning and ended up sanding through and had to respray the fender, but whatever, that's all just part of doing what we do. So I just figured I'd bring you guys in for another look at it. So there she is, all ready for the customer. So kind of the point of this video, like I said, we're kind of looking at where do we draw the line between repairing or replacing a panel. In this case, if you were following along, you see that, I mean, it was better for everyone to repair it. It works out to be a less expensive repair for the customer. Works out to be more labor in my pocket over just replacing a panel. So it's a win-win. So why do collision shops just immediately put down to replace? I don't know. I know maybe it's faster for them. You know, you'd think they'd be looking at, you know, repair time, pure labor over a little bit of markup on a part. But anyway, that's that. She's all done. As you can see, it looks good. No one will ever know it was dented. And, you know, getting into, you know, repair times, book times. Now, there's no book time for a repair. Now, repairs are all judgment. You know, every body man or technician, if you want to call them that, we're all different. You know, you might get into, say, I don't know, say you got to replace a quarter panel on this car. Now, say book time on that, say is, I don't know, say it's 16 hours. It's probably somewhere around there. Now, that's based on the average technician. Now, suppose you've got someone that's new in the trade, they've got 16 hours to change that. It might take them the full 16, maybe even a little more. You might take someone that's been in the trade a long time, has done it 2 or 3 times. They might knock that out in 8. So, you know, yes, now they're making more money at it, but at that point, paying for someone's experience. You know, in my case, fixing dents, I mean, I've fixed an awful lot of dents in my time. So, I mean, I'm okay at it. So, you know, I had 4 hours on that fender. I probably had it done in 3, you know. But my shop rate's about half of what collision shops charge. So, anyway, I don't know if any of that will help anybody or if you enjoyed it, but let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see more of, if there is anything at all you would like to see. And as always, if you can, subscribe to the channel, because it really does help me out to keep these videos coming. And I thank you guys very much who have already subscribed and who do support the channel. So, I'm going to leave this one there. As always, thanks so much for watching. I do hope to see you on the next one.